Stills, it's the Giants. No shit, it's the Giants. No shit, you lost to them last year too. I'm seeing the same shit now. All right. Hey, we got two guys coming up here today that are going to make you feel better, though. Ready? One is Merrill Reese at 5:30. And by the way, you hear my boy in the morning with John McMullen. By the way, John is becoming very Sileo-ized. I think my influence is kind of, John's great. By the way, they answer his questions. John doesn't fuck around in those meetings there. Without further ado, my friend, Big Z, Zander Krause, the host of Birds 365. How you doing, boss?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
All good, man. Appreciate it. You know, I got a question right out of the gate off that press conference from Hertz yesterday.
All right, let's hear it.
So when someone asked the question to Hertz about throwing across the middle, I think it was Jeff McClain.
Yeah, it was either him or Tim McManus.
Okay, ask the question. Hertz's answer was, well, it just worked out that way.
Not a very good answer.
Why didn't one of the reporters follow up and say, so you're blaming your coordinator for not calling plays across the middle of the field?
Well, that's because it's Jalen who's checking into a lot of those plays.
So So he lied then. It was him lying that he doesn't. It just worked out that way that we're not throwing across the middle.
I see what you're getting at. Somebody definitely should have followed up on there so we could have had clarity. It's not like they probably would have given us the real answer anyway there. But yeah, it's interesting. I thought that was his worst answer of the press conference on that.
Yeah, because what he did was he goes, it just worked out that way. Okay, so the coordinator's not calling plays across the middle of the field. Is that right? So it's Kellen Moore's issue on the play calling.
I guess that's a part of it. I mean, like I said to you before the show, I think a lot of this is, they gave Jalen full autonomy at the line of scrimmage this year. He's checking into a lot of plays. Whether that's good or bad, you can make the decision. I think the truth is that he is checking into a lot of plays, though.
Okay, so the way you're sounding, he's checking out of Kellen Moore's offense and into the 22 offense of Nick Sirianni's of a year ago because he feels more comfortable. He has to be
what do you mean? When you say Kellen Moore offense, what do you mean?
The Dallas Cowboy offense.
Okay, why would they run the same offense with Jalen Hurts?
Because that's all he's ever run.
Okay, but he has a different quarterback.
The wrong quarterback.
Okay, I'm saying Kellen Moore doesn't have a 40-year career in the league. Kellen Moore coached Dak Prescott and he coached Justin Herbert.
Are you under the assumption that a quarterback coach or a offensive coordinator will change to a skill set of a player? Kyle Shanahan couldn't. He couldn't change to a run style offense.
I think they should. Why would you not accentuate the talents of your players?
That's because you get the player you want to fill your offensive need, like you say with Brock Purdy.
That's
Purdy
not how
fits
it works in coaching.
Really? Okay, name me a coordinator who is running RPO right now and who is coaching. Todd Monken's an RPO guy. He came from the college ranks. Actually, he was at Navy when he ran that style of play.
Why did they hire Todd Monken?
Because they run RPO up there.
Well, because that's what Lamar Jackson's skill set is.
Correct.
Yeah.
They have the right coach. They have the right coach and the right quarterback.
Did they hire the wrong coordinator is a fair one. But to sit here and expect Kellen Moore's offense to look like it did with Dak Prescott or Justin Herbert is just stupid. That's not Jalen Hurts' style.
Yes, that's what they want. They want him to be more of a pro style.
That's a different conversation, my friend.
No, it's not. Because you're saying that. Okay, well, then get this, what they're doing then. So you're saying that he's not running Kellen Moore's offense and checking out into what?
This is what Kellen Moore's offense looks like with Jalen
What's
Hurts.
he checking into? Whose offense then?
It's Jalen Hurts' offense, dude.
Okay, Jalen Hurts' offense is okay. So that kid who's not a pro-style passer is checking into some phantom offense that he has in his brain, according to you.
What do you mean phantom offense in his brain?
If
I watched him checking out of scrimmage.
If he's checking out of Kellen Moore's design plays for that sequence of plays, what's he checking into? Some infamous Jalen Hurts play.
Evidently go routes all day. It's go routes. It's go routes or bust. Look, I have a problem with that, but I'm not going to sit here and expect the Kellen Moore offense to look just like it did in Dallas or LA. It's a different quarterback. It's going to look different. I think people are conflating the two issues. Is Jalen Hurts a competent quarterback enough to run an offense that Kellen Moore wants? That's a
No.
different question
No
than
way.
why does Kellen Moore's offense look like this with Jalen Hurts? It
It
looks like
looks the
this.
same as a year ago
Why?
because it's the same offense.
Because it's
Because
what the quarterback likes,
Dan
Big Dog.
Orlovsky and I you're not on the same page with Dan and I because Dan and I agree that offense doesn't resemble anything Kellen Moore has ever done.
I know that, but I'm not. It's because this is what the quarterback likes. It's a
The
simpler
quarterback is
offense. They
the
don't
wrong
run
guy.
complex schemes. They don't have dropbacks. They don't put them under center at all. They barely
He's
even
the
use them in
wrong
the pistol.
hire.
What's that?
He's the wrong hire.
That is a different conversation. I think you're probably right. He's the wrong hire. I
So
think
he's going to check into these infamous plays that they don't call.
What do you mean these infamous plays? I don't know what.
What is he checking into? What, something that we talked about?
Go rounds. That's it.
Dude. So the guy designs Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and Musmeyer sit down all week long and design the first 25 plays. Hurts audibles out of all of those and why they haven't scored.
I wouldn't audible. He's not supposed. You shouldn't be audibling at it, especially the first couple plays.
Can I tell you here? Tell me if you at least agree to this.
I think we're saying the same thing. We just have different versions of getting there. I don't expect Kellen Moore's offense to be traditional play action like it was in Dallas.
Doesn't it make sense to you that the top 25 plays that they have been the biggest failure in the offensive game plan? And these are plays that they have scripted, analytically thought about. Doesn't it the offense look better once they start ad-libbing off the script and not on script? Because that quarterback is a non-script player. He plays better off script than he does on script. Like 22, he's better. The offense gets better. But when you design these plays and these pass plays, and he's either, like you say, checking out, doing something else, not throwing and threatening across the middle, Hoss, it's the same shit as a year ago, just with different names. And the quarterback, once again, is not competent to run a pro-style offense like he wasn't in Alabama. Okay? The difference between Tua, I see it now. The difference between Tua and Hertz is glaring. And here's why. Tua doesn't have a great arm, but you know what he does? He throws the landmarks. And he's great at knowing what landmark it is to throw. Does Jalen have a stronger arm? Yeah. Is Jalen a better athlete? Yeah. But Jalen has no pocket presence, and he can't see the field like Tua can. Tua is by far Tua's a lot like Purdy. He's
okay,
a left-handed Purdy.
What you're saying, though, it makes so much sense, but it also contradicts with your expectation at the start of the segment. If you were the offensive coordinator and you knew that about your quarterback, what would you run?
Hey, what they ask me and what they want me to run. The owner, and like you told me that John McMullen and you both tell me that this is an organizational decision that they want him and this offense to be, you're paying $51 million in receivers. They want this to be a pro. Kellen Moore was hired by the owner and the GM because of exactly where the money's being spent. Quarterback and receiver. That's it, dude. You don't even run the ball anymore. You don't care to run the ball.
I have a conspiracy theory, too, for you about Cliff Kingsbury.
Tell me.
It wasn't about Jeff Stoutland. Cliff Kingsbury wanted to run his own offense, and they didn't want him to do that. They said that's not going to be pass happy. That's not going to be pass happy enough, and we're not doing that. And then they used the report, he wanted to remove Jeff Stoutland. You're telling me Cliff Kingsbury wouldn't have accepted the job if you said, hey, you can have all your own coaches, but we're not getting rid of Jeff Stoutland, who's been the greatest offensive line coach in the NFL for the better part of 20 years. I'm not buying that. That's just a theory. I have no way to back it up. I don't think John even knows the answer either. But, it's interesting to think about Cliff Kingsbury, the way he's running that offense in Washington with I don't want to say they're similar styles because I think Jaden's a lot better in the pocket than Jalen is.
He is.
But he's more accurate. Yeah, he's very accurate quarterback. Very good quarterback. I just wonder if that's part of what happened with Cliff Kingsbury because as you point out, I don't think Kellen Moore's – look, I was super high on Kellen coming into the year because I was expecting a pro-style offense that Jalen would get better in, yeah, and you pointed it out. There's gonna be some hiccups early in the year, no matter what, right? I thought that he was going to get better, but they're not running him in any sort of pro style mode at all. I mean, they have him sitting in gun all day. They're not even running him in pistol at all. It's gun, 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 gun. That's it. That's all they're running. It's the same thing. And then every third or fourth play, really even it's been more than that, Jalen goes up, he sees A.J. Brown in single coverage or press man coverage, and he checks into a go route. And it looks the exact same. That's why the route trees look the same. That's why everything looks the same. Because I believe this is the offense that Jalen Hertz likes to run within what the organization wants, which is pass happy.
It will never get better.
I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying
How
that
about
I
this?
don't.
I got a question for you here. Something that wasn't followed up at that presser as well. And it's a great observation because I went back this morning and watched the 22. Why do you think the plays are getting in longer? And why do you think they're taking longer to get into the quarterback, giving him less time in the pocket to process? Because here, this is one thing that Bill Walsh told me. One of the greatest things that a quarterback can have is great feet and getting back into the pocket so he can process the intel that he's looking at. He said the great quarterbacks like Montana and Elway and those guys have great feet. Great feet is what makes a quarterback, not a great arm. You get back in your drop, you process the information, you see the field, you have more time. Brady was great at it as well, constantly working on his feet. Same thing with Manning. How many times Peyton Manning
Who's tremendous at it right now?
What's
Brock
that?
Purdy.
Dude, that's when people say, Sills, who's a great quarterback? I go like this, look at their feet. Bill Walsh told me, always look at the feet. Don't look at the arm.
Purdy, this is what makes Purdy competent in the league, is how quickly he's identifying defense. So to answer your question, because I think this is a better question for you. I was going to ask you, what causes that? My theory would be, as I look at it and I say, is Kellen getting the play calls in late? That doesn't seem that likely to me. I mean, how long does it take him to get in a play call? And he's been doing this for 5-6 years. Or is it getting down to the end of the play clock because Jalen is trying to read the defense and see what's out on the field? And then when he switches, you're down at the bottom of the play clock. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't have the answer.
A little of both, and I'll tell you why. I'd like to know inside the headsets and on the green dot, how many voices Hertz has in his ear at one time when the play comes in. And secondly, I do think that they're probably giving him more time to process where they think the pressure's coming from. He has gotten better at that, okay? Remember, he's got to now set protections. So maybe what they're doing is they're giving him an opportunity at the line of scrimmage and he's looking over. But for the play clock to get down to 19, okay, 18, 17, think about it. You get into the huddle, you're coming out, you got 9 seconds to get the play off. I mean, defenses are at an advantage. The closer you get to set ready, where you have to put the O-line, that means to me, get this, Zander, what can I do once the quarterback goes set ready? That means I can take a coverage that I had pre-snap and move a guy because what? You can't put a guy in motion after that. Once you're down and set, you can't. You're ready to rock. I can't hear you.
Is that the rule in the NFL about that? Set ready.
That's what Jonathan Vilma would tell you, that they used to wait for Peyton Manning to get down to 3 seconds. And once he got down to 3 seconds, they would move their defense once he set the offensive line, especially when it came to blitzing. So, I mean, that was a big thing that they won.
So the reason for the play clock would be what, in your opinion?
Too many voices either in his ear. He's still learning on how to set the protection, okay? And if he's audibling out, think about what you're saying that he's doing. So get this, by the time he's getting to the line of scrimmage, to the conversation you and me are having about this is Jalen Hurts' offense. So you're telling me this is what he does. By the way, we'll read all super chats, I promise.
Yeah, appreciate all you guys, man.
You're telling me that you think he gets to the line, play clock is winding down, he's looking at protection, okay? And then on top of that is he hears the play, he gets everybody to play, and in that process, he gets to the line of scrimmage, he changes the play. That's what he's doing? If that's the case, that's one of the reasons why that play clock is winding down on him then.
Yeah, I know. But to your point about the multiple voices and Senor brings that up.
How many people?
I thought you could only have one. I thought that was like a league rule.
Okay.
Let me
well,
look
maybe how about this? How many voices are in Nick or Kellen's ear that are telling?
That's probably the better. Yeah, it says one coach is able to communicate with a
Okay.
quarterback in the NFL through helmet radio
So then it's
communication.
Kellen. Kellen has multiple people probably talking to him about a.
Yeah. Well, because
Remember,
Nick
I've
has said
actually
that.
heard Nick say
has
that.
said, yeah, right. Nick has said on the headset he's on with Kellen. So I think the question could be there. Maybe that's part of the reason the play call is getting in slow. I think the common sense approach would be it's probably more on the quarterback who's taken over the pre-snap reads for the first time in his career. And there's going to be a ramp-up period for that. There's going to be some speed bumps, on doing that effectively. It's not like Peyton Manning or anybody just came in the league and said, okay, this is how you call defense, boom, 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 get it all done quickly. So that's probably the more common sense approach. But look, many people are speculating that Nick is still overriding everything. And maybe that is what it is. I think this organization is a lot more powerful than people are letting on. And if they didn't want Nick doing that, Nick wouldn't be doing that. And I don't think Nick has as much power as we believe. Nick is a puppet for the guys upstairs.
No. That's what I pointed out to you. Here's Nick's job. He sits down with Howie in the room. They put a game plan together. They look at older coaches, and then what they do is with the analytics sheet that Julian gives them, they put a game plan together. And this goes to John's article. John wrote about this. Then he looks at Howie. Howie and Jeff are involved, as Angelo says, in every aspect of this football team, especially on Sundays. And believe me, here's Nick's job. He's got to, deal with his coaching staff putting a game plan together. Then he's got to deal with the owner's game plan and the owner's coaching staff, the analytics people, and he's got to suffice those guys. Nick actually, in theory, has a pretty fucking tough job. That's why he constantly brings up the owner, and he brings up Howie, and he allows Howie to play in the game and in the sandbox with him. He has to suffice his guys, the owner's guys, and make a game plan. That's why, Zander, the first 25 plays look like the most chaotic plays in the game plan is because there's too many voices. I mean, it's evident. You haven't scored a point in 5 games in the first quarter. Why? You got too many people fucking telling you what to do. Yeah. Plays are coming in late. You don't have a sequence of plays. And what's the one thing that Jalen and everybody keeps saying? Kellen Moore says this all the time. We got to get a rhythm going. You're not going to get a rhythm going when you have multiple voices inside the offensive coordinator's ears. Okay, it's not the quarterback. I didn't know about that rule. I didn't know that you had to have one.
Yeah, I thought I heard that rule somewhere, and John mentioned it before. You're only allowed to have one in the quarterback's ear.
But I know this for a fact that the head coach,
yes, he's on with
Kellen. He can go to both. Yeah. I've seen the headsets, and you can be on.
No, you're 100% right about that. Kellen is not just talking to Jalen. He has Nick. He probably has some of maybe the dudes up in the booth, the passing game coordinators, some of those dudes. I'm sure they're all in Nick's ears, or in Kellen's ear. But maybe that's where the communication's from. Maybe it's not coming from Jalen. I mean, that's a plausible theory if you're under the belief that Kellen Moore does not have autonomy to run an offense in a game.
No way.
See, I think Kellen does within the game, but it's all set beforehand.
Nick says that he calls plays and overrides them. Yeah. He says it.
Yeah, but dude, Nick is feeding.
Okay, no wait. Believing that is one thing. Also,
yeah,
okay?
That's a whole new ball game. Believing that. That's like people believing. And there's people all over YouTube right now talking about it. Nick didn't call a defensive play.
We laughed on the post game. We laughed.
That's a joke. Nick did not call a defensive play, nor did Nick call the 3rd and 1 play that he took credit for. But everybody takes that to the bank, and like you pointed out, maybe Nick should start saying what he does right because everyone just thinks he's a retard.
Well, how about this though, Zander? John McMullen's sitting at Lincoln Financial in the press area going, "You don't really think that guy called that play?" And I'm going like, "Way to go, John! Way to go, dude! That was great." Now, here, let me take you to this now. In your brief time working content and seeing the rest of the coaches around the league and other professional coaches, have you ever seen a coach that's 37-19, 3 straight playoffs, and the success of the greatest win percentage in the history of one of the marquee franchises in pro football, have a city where they hate him so much? They got guys out front of the NovaCare Center with signs that say "Run the ball," and they can't stand this guy. With all of his success, Zander, Why is his job in jeopardy? And why do people in Philadelphia, at least 80% of the fans, hate this guy and want him fired? The media, national media, thinks he's a punchline now. And now they're comparing
now you know why
the taxi.
Now you know why the owner and the GM like him.
Oh, my point to you is, have you ever seen anything like this?
No, you don't. You don't.
I thought Philadelphia people honored winners.
Well, we fired our Super Bowl coach 3 years after he won our only Super Bowl in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles.
I thought you celebrated winners.
We were supposed to, but honestly, we've gotten far away from that in this city. Look at the dude, Philadelphia.
Rob Thompson.
Philadelphia is down bad in the last. Have you seen that graphic floating around social media of all of the losses we've had in the last 3 years?
No.
Oh my God! I'd love to find it and pull it up for you. It's the Philly Super Bowl loss, and then they collapse in the NLCS last year. The Eagles lose the Super Bowl and then collapse 7-1. The Sixers get bounced in the second round every single year. It's like Philadelphia is just, dude. I'm nervous that you're taking on that sort of mentality. Not just the city, but that was my worry going into the Browns game is, early in Jalen's career, whether you liked Jalen or not, or saw Jalen's deficiencies or not, or Nick's deficiencies or whatever it was, that team won ball games, man. That team their culture was like, and this bet, like I said to you before, you were on the Miami Hurricanes, the prime Miami Hurricanes. One loss, and you guys was unacceptable. One loss.
The season was over.
That's how you viewed it. So that's where I was worried with Philly recently, especially the Eagles. You're what, 3-8 in the last 12, and I'm worried. All right, now we're starting to get used to losing, and it almost seems like it doesn't matter.
Last year.
What's that?
You're 14-9 since last year, counting the playoffs.
Yeah, but even before that, before the collapse, when you were 10-1, I know you don't like to talk about that, 10-1, and then you were 14-3 the year before that with 2 playoff wins. I mean, you were 16-5 or 16-4, and then you were 10-1. You were 26-4. You won 26 out of 30 games. That's a culture of winning. Losing is not common to you. Now the last 12, it's been different. Now I think they're good. I think they're going to turn it around here. I think we are going to go on a couple wins here. I think we're going to win probably at least the next 3 straight. I don't see how. Look, I understand the problems with the team. I just do not see.
Really?
I do not see us losing to the Giants. I don't see us losing to the Jags. I think the Bengals could be a tough matchup, especially when you're playing Joe Burrow. Baker Mayfield had a field day with this defense. What the heck is Joe Burrow going to do? That's a fear of mine. But you get to 6-2 and you beat a bunch of scrubs. What does that fix for us? Then you fall into the same trap of being like, oh, we're 10-1, we're the greatest team on earth. You're probably not at that point. So we have to see how they develop, but we'll see.
All right, let me ask you something here.
Oh, look at that, dude. 522 in the chat, 118 likes. We got to get them likes up.
Get them likes up. Let's go, please, guys. So let me ask you something here. You think Kellen Moore's been a better coordinator than Brian Johnson?
No. Why? What's he done better?
Do you think that Vic Fangio's been a better coordinator than Sean Desai?
Not particularly. See, the Brian Johnson one's way different than the Vic Fangio one for me. Because the defense, I'm going to have a problem with this defense no matter who's calling it. And honestly, how much of a team? What's that?
Desai was 10-2, I mean.
Yeah, 10-2 when he was fired.
When they fired him.
Sir, why the heck did they fire that guy? I mean, even if you didn't like the guy, you got to let him finish the year, right?
I mean, he had beaten Allen. He had beaten Mahomes.
Everybody in the chat reminds us every day, oh, we beat Mahomes. I know we beat him. Right.
My question is, those 2 coordinators you had, why don't you just let those guys sit in the room and develop maybe this year and develop those guys and give them another opportunity like you gave Nick and give those guys, hey, Zander.
Yeah, that's on our owner, Phils.
If it takes more time to develop a quarterback, doesn't it take time to develop coaching staffs also?
It does. Look at Jalen in the second year. I mean, with Kellen Moore. And everybody talked about that. But I think because –
You mean with Shane Steichen in the second year, he was 14-3.
I think they should have kept Brian because everybody – look, the organization has a scapegoat problem, and it's an owner problem. John McMullen talks about this all the time. He said it's his number one knock on the owner, and he believes the owner is a great owner, the best owner the Eagles have ever had, which he's probably right
He's
about.
probably right.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had
Sure,
many
he's
good
better
owners.
than anything. And I love Norman, but no.
Yeah,
And
Norman
Toad,
Brandon was not
no,
Ed Sills. Yeah,
absolutely not.
yeah,
The guy gambled the team away. Absolutely not. You might have to go back to Burt Bell in the 60s.
No, but John always says my number one knock is he's got to scapegoat somebody. He always has to have a scapegoat. Last year was Brian Johnson. He got scapegoated out of here, and everybody. I mean, look, I hope everybody that's listening right now that had a problem with Brian Johnson knows that our problems were not just on Brian Johnson. He maybe wasn't ready to be a coordinator. I'm fine with that conversation. But to sit here and say the problems and the reason we collapsed and the reason our offense didn't work down the stretch was all on Brian Johnson is, I think, very naive. I don't think it was all on Brian Johnson. I think there's organizational issues here. And that's why you see the same thing right now with Kellen Moore.
My problem is you should have brought both coordinators back and gave them a chance to mature as coordinators.
I think you're right. I mean, I think they'd still be working within a system that's probably has big flaws, but I think you're right about that for sure. The Vic one I don't have as much of a problem with because they wanted Vic last year, and the timing didn't work out with going to the Super Bowl. He was
the third choice. They wanted the guy from Georgia, or they wanted Vic. Vic went to Miami.
They wanted Vic, and then Vic went to Miami, and they were a week late, and then Vic ultimately didn't work out in Miami because maybe his defense just doesn't work for superstars. That's why they all disliked him down there, which is a whole nother conversation. But so the Vic one didn't surprise me. Like Sean Desai never seemed like they were that. I mean, looking back on it, doesn't Jonathan Gannon look like a genius?
Yeah, because
he had 70 sacks with this style.
Yeah, and by the way, he doesn't run that same defense in Arizona.
Yeah, does he? I don't know. I haven't followed.
Hey, he's more aggressive. He's more aggressive on bringing
the defensive scheme is brutal, and Anthony, brought it up earlier too, as well as Prince. Talking about the why Jalen Carter's inconsistent right now. I would go further than saying it's just the cornerbacks. It's the edge rushers too. Your edge rushers are providing nothing on the outside. It's making life impossible in the middle for Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. I mean, they don't even have to worry about. Dude, we have tight ends picking up right now.
We start these conversations when you do this. We're going in the same direction, but yet we're having a different conversation. It's not like tomorrow I'm having Wannstedt on. Wannstedt's going to tell you, dog, this is not a scheme issue. This is a production issue with players. If you're going to hire Vic, you better have competent corners and safeties. You better have edge. By the way,
my only push.
You know what Gannon had? You know what Gannon had that you don't have? You had competent players at every fucking level. Linebacker, edge rushing, tackles, safeties. Hey, you know that Epps kid? That Epps kid, he was a good ball player. And those two corners benefited off the 70 sacks, Zander.
Oh, big time. Big time. But to your point, you had somebody at every level that was competent. I mean, Hassan Reddick, even Josh Sweat had a decent year that year. Brandon Graham was still playing. Fletcher Cox was still in there. Yeah.
Had 11 sacks.
Who had 11? Sweat?
Graham had 11. Josh had 11. What's his name at 16?
Let's look up the 22 defense at 22.
That 22 defense, you had four guys with multiple sack years. You had Brandon Graham had 11. Sweat had 11. Reddick had 16. What's his name? Fletcher Cox had 6. What's his name? Hargrave had 11.
Brandon Graham, 11 sacks. Sweat, 11 sacks. Hargrave had 11. Hassan Reddick had 16. Holy man.
Look, and how many?
Fletcher Cox had 7.
Fletcher had 7. Look at that. And look, you know what? That's why when you had Linval Joseph and you had Adama Katsu, you weren't asking those guys to come in there and create pressure. You're already creating pressure off your front four.
Dude,
so when people go like this, Jonathan Gannon had the advantage of having great players at every level.
We're through what, 5 games this year? We're not going to see.
You had more sacks in the Browns game than you had the whole 4 games going in.
Yeah, it's true. What do we have, 5 in the Browns game?
You had 5. You had 5 for the year. You had 5 when you left the Browns game. Now you got 10. And the Giants have 26, and they lead the National Football League. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you here. I'm going, it dawned on me. Does Vic Fangio's defense, does it look better than what Sean Desai did at 10-2? Albeit he got killed by.
Yeah, but here's my only pushback. you're right that the players got to play better. And a lot of the players aren't performing up to it, mainly your edge rushers. And I don't think the cornerbacks have been bad, but like you said, they looked a lot better when your edges got home for 70 sacks. I hate this defensive scheme. I really do. I hate it. I
I think it's a
despise
league-wide thing, though, Xander. I
it. Is.
think you see a lot of
It
this
is.
kind of style of
It
Ben.
is. But my only point in saying it is, even if the players are playing great, I'd still want a different defense. And I think the league is catching up. I really think the league is so far caught up to this thing, it's not even worth running
You
anymore.
know what would change this scheme? If you had a guy who was a 12, 13 sack. Let me tell you something. If Bryce Huff had lived up to his billing and he had 6 sacks right now or 4 sacks
Blame
going
Howie for that. Projecting that dude to be Hassan Reddick was stupid.
Again, if you had a guy putting pressure, that would change that secondary's look and maybe even the linebacker look and some of the play in your defensive tackles. You keep asking, not you, everyone keeps asking, why is Carter so up and down? Well, Carter's an up and down player right now. I mean, that's where he is in his career. I mean, how many times do you think you can draw a play up for a kid to go out there and fail in it? It's like having Jalen Hurts when you have that conversation on Hertz. Just because you draw a play up for Hertz doesn't mean he can execute it because his skill set's not there executed. See, the problem that you have with Hertz doesn't have the skill set to perform drop back quarterback pocket passing. He's not that guy. He'll never be that guy. People want him. Hey, will he get better? Yeah, Zander, how much better will he be as a pocket passer? 5%? That's still not good enough. That's not good enough to get home. I heard a comment today that I love. You don't have to have a great team. You don't have a great team to win a Super Bowl. You just have to have a really great quarterback.
Well, yeah, look at the Chiefs last year. They weren't a great team last year.
How about the last 2 years?
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you this. If you took the combined teams of the Niners and the Eagles, I don't believe that the Chiefs would have one player except for Kelsey. And maybe that old lineman or Chris Jones, okay? That could start if you put an all-star team together between the Niners.
Chris Jones, keep out of there. Chris Jones is
they probably have 3 out of the 22, right?
Chris Jones is an actual beast.
He is.
That dude is a monster, dude. He might be one of my favorite defensive players.
Hey, and I would take right now I'd probably take Kittle over Kelsey. I think Kelsey's winding it down. I don't think he's the same guy right now.
No, he's not. I think you're right about that. Yeah.
Okay. So I might
maybe they're backlit. Maybe they're saving him for the end of the year.
Yeah, that could be.
He does seem to be a
last
big
year.
type of player. Yeah, he makes big plays in big moments, which you got to give him credit for. But
yeah, because it dawned on me. I'm like, Brian Johnson had the number 8 offense in the league, and how come when I look at that offense right now, I don't see it, and the quarterback is not getting better. And I'm looking at all those guys who had all those great numbers a year ago. Dude, A.J. Brown had 1,500 yards receiving. Devontae had 1,100. One guy had 100 catches. You had a running back who went and got himself a $9 million deal in Chicago. I mean, everyone played great on that offense individually. They won 11 ball games. They got bounced, obviously. I get it. But still, why didn't you keep him? Why didn't you develop him? I mean, you really were that upset with the fans being upset with you that you decided not to develop your own guys who you had in-house? Now I know why the guy, Denard Wilson, didn't get the job as defensive coordinator, Zander.
I don't even want to talk about Denard Wilson. Denard Wilson's is a great coordinator right now.
By the way, he's doing a nice job in Tennessee right now with a shitty team.
Yes.
I mean, look at the job he did last year with Baltimore. They had the top flight secondary in the league. I mean, you got to kill it. It's funny. Okay? It's funny, man, how you look at that. I mean, all right. So is this going to be a Saquon Barkley game on Sunday?
Gosh, I think it might be. They got a pretty good defensive line there in New York. John brought up a good point. Like, is this one of those weeks where you have to factor the owner into this thing in New York? Because think about it. If you're the Giants defensive coaches, right, you look at the Eagles and you're like, all right, who do we want to take out of this? We want to take A.J. Brown out and get beat by Saquon, and then we're going to have an owner who basically said, I'm not going to be able to sleep at night if he performs. Is Saquon Barkley going to go in there and drop 200 yards and 2 touchdowns? Them dudes will be fired on the next day. I think they'd rather get beat by A.J. Brown. It's one of those weird moments where I think that coaching staff might actually choose to get beaten by A.J. Brown because they know the owner is going to be that butthurt about Saquon Barkley. So maybe they try and take him out of the game. I don't know. I still am going to project we're giving away a jersey next week. I think he's going to get over 125 yards, and he'll have a good game. I don't know if it'll be as big as the opener where he had 160 yards and 3 touchdowns, but I think he'll have a big game.
Let me say this to you about John Mara. I had John Mara. You can Google it. Maybe you can listen to it. I don't know if they took the interview down, but I had John Mara on.
Look at Ottos. This show makes me depressed to be an Eagles fan.
No. Hey, listen, I need some Philly 500 to feel happy again. All right, well, let me ask you. That's a good question. Guy, what do you like hearing? I'm just curious. I would like to know, for me, my own personal content as I put my show together.
No, sometimes it's hard to hear the truth, especially when the truth is pretty effing ugly.
What do you like to hear, Guy, that makes you feel better when you listen to a guy like Philly 500, who we love, and we get him on every week, and I love him? What do you like to hear? I'm just curious. What's the one thing that guys like you and Michelle Reyes like to hear on a weekly basis? Michelle Reyes, what do you like to hear? Okay.
M. Reyes.
Hey,
what's up, my guy?
Michelle Reyes.
Wait, M. Reyes made a great point.
I just want to know.
Let me give M. Reyes some credit, though, because everybody in here shitting on M. Reyes. M. Reyes showed his face. He came on a post-game show loud and proud.
Look at this guy. Here's Michelle Reyes.
M. Reyes, I respect you, brother.
I want to hear that the Eagles are on the upswing. How many people in here believe the Eagles are on a upswing since 2023?
No. Here's why I can't. This is why I can't tell you that. Because they are objectively not on the upswing. They went from 21. They were 9-7. And then they went 14-3 and went to the Super Bowl.
Stop!
And then last year we collapsed at the end of the year, got bounced by the Bucks.
Stop!
And now we're barely squeaking
You're
by the
making Michelle not feel good. Stop.
Well, I got to be. That's why, though. He's asking why.
But wait, no. He wants you to do this. Oh,
they're just not on the upswing, though.
Wait, Zander. Wait, that win over the Browns. Are you crazy? That was a monumental moment for our guys like Nolan Smith. Did you see Cooper DeJean as a human bullet? Unbelievable.
That's what Cooper DeJean looked good.
Yeah.
He made some. Look, he's not fully there yet as a player, but he made some aggressive tackles, and I can ride with that as a Philly fan. That dude was. And how about that Keely Ringo hit? Well, by the way, that came right after Nakobe Dean just got absolutely hung out to dry in open field. But Keely Ringo popped that dude, man. So the young dudes are ready to tackle. That makes me excited a little bit.
Alejandro, I love them to turn the page and start clicking. Still have hopes because talent. But I watched the games. Wait, no, it's not. I saw somebody up here. Oh, yeah, this one here. This is the one. Here, Ryan, Phil, are you calling him Michelle to make fun of him because he's a man? He's a man. Sounds pretty misogynistic to me. Hey, Snowflake, kiss my nuts. How's that for you? How's that for you, Ryan? Hey, Snowflake, you can fondle my couillons. How you doing?
Oh, my God. So in rare form. Oh, no.
What are you, crazy, Ryan? Hey, Ryan,
I got to come over. Me, Willie. Somebody clip that for me. Oh, my gosh. Please clip it.
My nuts, Ryan.
That short will be getting millions of views for years to come. Oh, my gosh. I was not ready for that.
She'll just cancel now because the princess had the.
We're uncancelable. We are uncancelable.
Couillons, reach arounds. That's what Ryan's all about. Got him. Congratulations. Now you can go home and drink.
Yeah, Ryan's my kind of guy. He checks in and says, love it. Appreciate it.
It's all good. By the way, my aunt is in here. So I have to behave myself.
Can't be happy with that comment.
Oh my God, she's gonna kick my ass later. What are you, crazy, man?
And Betty,
or hey, I got another one here. We can go play Fortnite, Ryan, me and you.
I think he's making fun of Avante Maddox.
You think?
Yeah. Good God.
Zander, how do you So the Eagles going to blow them out this Sunday?
No, I don't think it's
Oh,
going to be.
Wait. I got to bring this up. So Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts had a piece of humble pie. Hey, you know that game that we were going to, have you marqueed on Sunday night? And, we're not going to do that right now. We're going to put the youngsters in there at that spot, and we're going to flex Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts out of that game. They went with the younger guys over the veteran guys.
I
think that's a shot at Burrow too, dude.
Oh, it's definitely a shot. Is it a shot at Burrow or is it a shot at this awful organization who sucks at building anything sustainable in the league? Yep. And his defense, I mean, we think the Eagles defense is bad. That defense is brutal in Cincinnati. They're brutal. So he's finding a stride. But you're right, it is a knock. I mean, if you told me before the year, hey, the Bears and the Commanders are going to usurp you for prime time on Fox, I'd be like, huh? Or is it CBS or whoever it is? I'm like, wow. But look, that's a better game right now. 4-2 teams with 2 rookie stud quarterbacks leading them.
I heard they're putting their Hertz game on Bravo. How you doing? the Bravo network.
Oh my God.
How do you think? Hey, is this going to be a blowout Sunday?
No, it's not going to be a blowout. The Giants are better than people are giving them credit for. Now, they got a big injury list right now. I don't know who's going to all play. Dexter Lawrence didn't even practice yesterday, so I'm waiting to get the full update on their injury report and see who's playing. But look, their defense, I think their defense leads the NFL in sacks right now. So
26.
Yeah, I mean, they're look, Brian Burns is playing good. They got Dexter Lawrence up there, who's arguably one of the best defensive players in the league. They got some good players. So you don't take anybody lightly. It's an NFC East game. As Sileo points out, they beat us with the Pizza Boy last year. You got to come in, you got to take it seriously, and you got to beat this football team. But, and by the way, if Malik Neighbors comes back, I know everybody likes to rag on Daniel Jones. He hasn't been as bad as he has been in the past.
They've been better.
I'm not saying he's great. I'm just saying Malik Neighbors is good enough to make him look a lot better.
Their O-line got better.
Yeah, their O-line still sucks, and they're missing Andrew Thomas, who's out for the year.
But it got better. I mean,
I know, but where it got better just got hurt.
Yeah, but it got better in the middle. Hey.
Yeah, they signed Runyon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this. You think they extend Nick Sirianni at the end of the year?
Ooh, it's a good question. Wait, if he makes it, let me ask you. Because if he makes the playoffs, that's 4 straight playoff appearances.
He's 43-21, say. Say he wins the opening wild card game. And what would that – right now he's 2-3. Let's say this, okay? He goes 1-1. He's 2-3 here. And that would make him 3-4. Not bad. Not bad. With an NFC championship. Made the playoffs every year. He's got the best winning percentage in the history of the Eagles. He'll go into his final year of his contract. The organization loves to address all this stuff. Do you think that they'll extend him this coming offseason?
I guess you're going to put me on the spot, aren't you? You're not going to let me politic my way out of this thing. If I had a guess, I'd say no. I don't believe Nick will be back next year.
So you're going to fire a guy with a 43-21 record?
Was that a losing question or whatever? If I said yes, you what would you have said?
Because I find this to be one of the more difficult things to do. I watch this. 43-21. That means he averaged 11 wins a year.
Yeah.
You're going to fucking fire that?
I don't know. What are you going to do? Bring him back?
Yeah. How could you justify? How could Jeffrey Lurie fire a guy if he wins a wild card game?
Jalen Hurts, we need you, brother. We need him. How
about this? Can he save his job by getting to an NFC championship game?
Of course. If they get the NFC title game, that's not a question.
Then he gets re-upped.
He'll be back. You can't fire a guy that goes to the NFC title game.
Goes to 2 NFC title games, had 45 wins.
A Super Bowl appearance. I mean, come on. 4 straight playoff appearances. Come on. You're not going to fire Nick if he does that. So,
right now, he's counting the playoffs right now. I mean, he's 39 and 22. I mean, that's a hell of a record, dude. I mean, right now, people are saying he's coaching for his job against the Giants on Sunday.
Look at Flagson. Flex, how am I supposed to answer that? It's a lose-lose. If I said yes, he would have grilled me for keeping Clown Sirianni. And if I said no, he ripped me for that. It was a lose-lose.
Is still saying we should extend Fredo? No, I'm saying that the organization will take credit in the record because they'll think that record's theirs.
They do. They thought that Super Bowl was theirs for crying out loud.
Maybe
Doug Peterson leads Nicky Foles to a Super Bowl over Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and the organization was actually stupid enough to believe that it was them. Can you believe that?
M. Reyes says there's no football reason to fire Nick. Nick doesn't have a football job, dude.
Yeah, but M. Reyes, this is, and I appreciate your take, but this is the truth of the NFL. Sileo doesn't. I do, M. This is the truth of the NFL, and John does a good job of telling me this all the time. There is a lot more that goes into football for being a head coach in the NFL. A lot more. And Nick sucks at most of them. He really does.
He does a great job of being a politician, though.
Yeah, does he?
Yeah.
Really?
Kept his job. He came back.
He shit on the fan base so much that the owner made him go out there and apologize.
Different. I'm talking about dealing with the owner and dealing what they want. Hey, fire Desai. Okay. Fire Johnson. Okay. Hey, we're going to pick your coordinators. Okay. Go apologize. Okay. I mean, this guy knows, he's the girlfriend you always want. Never says no.
I got to order a puppet for my hand. And just every time Sileo talks about Nick, I got to put it on my hand and start doing the puppet dance.
You kidding me, man? This guy here, his name is really Jeffrey Lurie's Geppetto. Okay. And Nick is Pinocchio.
I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about something with Jeffrey Lurie. Yo, are we still dealing with ramifications of the Chip Kelly era?
Yes.
Is that why this owner is acting like this?
He's acting like this because he also sees that how he watches his dough.
Yeah, but that's different. I don't have a problem with that. Shoot, man, why would you not? That's a smart businessman. Howie watches your dough better than anybody else. Sure.
If it's not being appropriated correctly, then there is a problem with it.
Well, no.
It's not being appropriated correctly.
The dough is different than if you let the football guys be the football guys and say, Howie, you handle my dough, that's different. I'm good with that. I actually think that if I were the owner of the team, I would have that's probably how I do it. I need a great dude who manages my money, and then I need a great football guy who manages my football team.
Oh, well, now you're splitting Howie up. Now, wait a minute. Now you're talking about two different dudes.
I've said that. I would split Howie out.
You think Howie would resign if he had personnel decisions taken away from him?
Yeah, but here's a fair question for you. Would Howie do better with personnel if he was given more free reign to give the coaches what they wanted instead of force feeding everything into the set systems that they want based on analytics and bullshit is why they run things the way they run things?
Okay, so that means he's under direction of Jeff, and Jeff wants it this way, and Howie's not going to do anything because it's not his money. So if you're saying to me, okay, so let me ask you this. And with Doug Peterson's final game at Lincoln Financial, you think it was his decision to start Nate Sudfeld?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
What was the bullshit reasoning? We want to see what we got.
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
In hindsight, that is a crazy thing for them to say. Holy shit.
Then they sit like guys like, remember Jason Kelsey going like this? He's sitting on the bench going, what the fuck?
Sileo got me stressed out about this team, man. I swear to God. I come on here, my hair's coming out. My hair's coming out, man.
Like you're a recovering alcoholic. You start fucking
it's
shaking.
Unbelievable. I'm not even a drinker, but I feel like one when I'm on here. Holy mackerel.
Dude, what hurts about this is that it's frustrating because it's the same. Hey, someone goes like this. Hey, Sills, didn't I hear this 2 days ago? I'm like, yeah, it's because I heard it in a press conference today. These people ridiculously practice the same shit every day, dude. You know what I'm saying? I know him. I know Michelle Reyes knows what I'm talking about.
The unstoppable Nate Sudfeld.
The greatness of Nate Sudfeld. Hey, yeah, we want to see what we had, so we pulled Hertz. They even benched Hertz, didn't they?
Yeah, that was he had 4 games that year. By the way, that was Jalen looked good with Doug Peterson, man. I would have liked to see that work out.
So you sabotage your head coaches.
Hey, you remember the first time that we played Doug with Jalen? They hugged like I forget where it was, but they hug, man. They hug. You could tell Jalen and Doug still like each other a lot. I think Doug would have done way better job with Jalen Hurts. I really do.
Because he would have fought for him.
Yeah, exactly. And he would have developed him
You know who Nick fights
around
for?
his skill set and made him a better. So for all the people, who say I'm actually not as big of a Jalen hater as I probably come off. But this organization is failing him. And failing him means failing the Eagles. And I'm not loyal to any player or any coach or any owner or any GM. I'm loyal to the Eagles. And the Eagles right now are in a shitty spot because of what they're doing with Jalen Hurts, how they're trying to force feed him into a developmental way that just doesn't suit his skill set, and it sucks.
Here's why some people will sit here and go, Sills, I come on here and I hear, and it sounds like we're trashing. In week 14, you'll be able to tell me if I was right or wrong. See, here's the one thing our show does versus any other show. I make a statement and a stand early, and you get to come back on me.
That's true.
Whether I'm right or wrong later on, and tell me if I was wrong. That's what I'm doing here. I'm making my feelings felt like 10-1 when Michelle Reyes posts that shit. I told you it's going to catch you, and it did. Everything I said, I thought the defense would have gotten better. It never did. But then again, they pulled the sigh and they pulled the rug out from under the team's development. So you never knew. My point is that at least what I'm doing here is in week 14 or at the end of the season, you get to come back and go, Sills, you were wrong. Sills, you were right. And like many of you have come here now and come to the show, and why the show is exploding is because what? You guys are now saying you were right. Well, let's see if we're right again. Jack says Sills is feeling himself. No.
Jack, yeah, he is.
No, Jack, no. That's
Sills
how
cooking in the kitchen right now. He's feeling himself, boy.
Hey, Jack.
He's like, oh,
Jack,
yeah. No, I will say this.
Jack, I make a statement and I make a stand early in a season to make a take, and you get the opportunity to call me out on it later on.
It's true.
I mean, most people don't do that because you know why? They're afraid of giving conviction, and they're afraid of giving conviction when it comes to their takes. They want to waffle around. Like we had with Seth last year, fucking waffling around for 14 days, 15 weeks or whatever, finally coming to the conclusion he knew the defense wasn't good. Now all of a sudden he's like, Jacoby sucks. Fuck, I told you that last year. Week 2, he stunk.
Yeah, I hate to say this to everybody that hates Big Sills, but since the Super Bowl, and I watch a lot, I watch more Eagles content than I should because this is what I do. This is my life. This is my living. I put my money, my blood, my sweat, my tears into this shit. I don't think anybody's been as right as Sileo. Look, everybody who talks about sports all day is going to be wrong about a lot of shit.
Absolutely.
That's just the reality of it. Sileo's been pretty accurate from a big picture perspective about what's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. He called it after the Super Bowl. Now, you might not want to believe that, and you might live in your delusions, and you can pick like little instances of things he got wrong, but Sileo prepared me for the Eagles drop-off more than anybody else, and I'll give him credit for that for sure.
Yeah, M. Reyes goes, Sills wanted to trade Dickerson. Yeah, I wanted to get Jesse Bates, and I wanted to get Trey Hendrickson for him too.
That's not really even true. You wanted to trade Dickerson. You were trying to boost the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't just wanting to get rid of
Dickerson was just a name that was used. It was more of a sentiment than that.
Yeah, I wanted to get Bates back there in the secondary. Hey, by the way, how's Bates and Justin Simmons doing for Atlanta right now?
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah.
Why is
this all on Howie? How are the scouts making dud pick after dud pick and zero accountability? You know why? I'll tell you why, Carmine. Because when they go to the combines and they watch a big fat guy at 6'6", 350 pounds run a 4.8, they go like this, woo, wee, woo, look at that guy. Or they look at Chicken Bone Nolan Smith and go, what a 4.4, holy cow, man. What Howie is a guy that looks in the bathroom mirror and flexes.
Chicken Bone, you got me.
Hey, he does this. Howie's the guy that looks in the bathroom mirror and does all the flexing shit.
Chicken Bone.
He likes that bathroom look, where you got the phone up there and he's going like this. Look, instead of actually looking at 20 inches of tape and finding a football player and looking at production, This guy will look at a guy in the gym room going, "Wow, he really interviews good." Who gives a fuck? I'd rather have a guy not interview right. You know why? Because at least he's being honest with me. And when a guy goes like this, "Hey, what's your plan if you don't make it in the NFL?" Hey, I don't have plan B. If you have a plan B, you don't have a plan A. Those were my words.
That's true. Look at Ray. He says, "Is that why you picked him to win 13, Zander?" Yeah, Ray. I wanted to believe, Ray. Wait, who gets to the season in September and says, "All right, if you're not Sileo and you don't give a shit what the team does, you get to September and you're like Super Bowl champions, baby. What do you want me to do? Coming to week 1 with we're gonna stink."
Hey,
Come on,
folks.
Man.
There's only one guy I really care about that's on my network, and I do care about John McMullen because the shit that I say and the shit that I start, I don't know how poor John walks in there, man, with his head up, knowing that there's a guy that works on the network.
For you, Sileo. They get John. So I wish you guys I could tell the people the inner workings of how the team works and the press credentials and Bob Lang and all this BS. Let's get through some super chats, Big.
Let's do this.
Carmine. Is Carmine related to Kimberly? Must be, right?
Oh, that means good. Hey, hey, Kimberly. Holy cow!
Is it Kimberly?
You got a Paisan as your guy? So
maybe it's Kimberly's husband.
Oh, look at this.
Kimberly. She is my sister. There you go.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say something disgusting. I'm glad you stopped me in the nick of time here.
Yeah, come on. Wait, big shout out to you, Carmine. Your sister does some good comments, and it seems like
good stuff there, man.
Appreciate Way to go. The support, my friend. Flexen says Sills is smarter than I thought.
What?
That Miami brain works. Flexen.
Hey, come on here, man.
M. Ray says, "Me too, guys. Me too." I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I think he's giving us kudos there. I have a love-hate relationship with this asshole, but I love him. So, I mean, I don't know.
I love him, Ray. He's a great
There's
guy.
something about him. Stu, don't worry. Sweetie, you know Sue, me, you. How you doing?
Sue, I'm telling you, man, I might have to bar your comment for a couple of days until this dude gets back on the rails, Sue. Anthony Wilson checks in. Appreciate you, Anthony. He says, I like Anthony because Anthony pushes back on a lot of shit we says, but he shows up and he shares his opinions and he sticks to them. So I appreciate Anthony. He says
2 years later, teams have caught up with this scheme. The scheme is outdated and it's soft.
Agreed.
So wait a minute. The same scheme you wrote in 2022 when you had 70 sacks and now you have 10.
Oh, you're not vouching for the scheme now, are you?
No. Well, the scheme didn't seem to be a problem in 22. It's the same scheme. You got to a Super Bowl with that same scheme.
Yeah, you had better players, and the scheme didn't win.
Better players. Wow.
Wait. Are you using the argument that you rip on Eagle fans for?
What?
Who won the Super Bowl?
I'm telling you, a better defense. I'm not.
We lost. It's like the people who tell me Jalen Hertz had the greatest Super Bowl. He lost. He lost. Everybody, be real with yourself.
22 defense better than this bullshit.
I get it, but we lost the Super Bowl. As far as I'm concerned, the shit didn't work.
Okay.
And neither did Jalen Hurts' great passer rating that everybody talks about in that game. He fumbled. There's a 10-point swing, everybody. That cost us the game. Whether you want to believe that or not, I don't care. Eustace says, so when was Nick Call's tush push? Is it analytics? I don't know. Maybe they're trying to keep
that was there before him because they ran that with Wentz.
Maybe they're trying to keep him from calling a go route.
Hey, Carmine, I want to tell you one thing. Always remember something. Never marry a hot Italian chick. You ready? She'll give you nothing but grief. She'll give you nothing but a ton of shit. Marry a fat chick. You'll always be fed and loved. Just remember that. I'm there to hook you up.
Life advice with Sileo, a new segment coming soon. Let's get to this one. Wow, big Jason all day. Appreciate you, brother. Facts.
We didn't read his $10 one, Carmine.
Oh, Carmine's? Oh, shoot, my bad.
Yeah, gents, the main issue is this. We continue to pay quarterbacks after one good year. Another can have one good year. I told you he's a one-year wonder. Think about that, Carmine. Carmine, if you take 22 away, would you give that guy $50 million?
I love the name Carmine, by the way. I had an uncle. I have a very Italian family on my mother's side. Carmine. I had an uncle Carmine and an uncle Carmin who fought in World War II and lost his eyeball.
I got people in my family named Giuseppe and
Oh,
also
I believe it. I believe it.
Philomena.
I got them all too. Don't worry.
My grandma's sister was named Philomena.
My grandmother's family was from, I forget where my grandfather's family was from, Parma.
My
And,
great grandfather's
yeah,
name is Vito.
that's pretty sick. Reminds me of wasn't the fat dude in Sopranos Vito? The gay
Was
dude?
he?
Who was the gay dude that ended up? I think he killed
You
himself.
know, hey, wait a minute. Vito Corleone was also Vito Corleone. Wait a minute.
Okay,
Why do you
great.
go
No,
with
who
the
was
gay
the
guy?
who am I? I'm missing. I'm forgetting his name.
Go with the. By the way, the gay guy follows me on Twitter. The guy he played the gay guy follows me.
Who was the fat gay dude on Sopranos? Was it Vito?
I think so. Yes, he follows me on Twitter. By the way.
Yeah, it was Vito. Vito Spatafore.
Yeah, his
Great
name
stuff.
is like something.
There you go. That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
And Martin, appreciate it, brother.
yeah. Vito follows me on Twitter. The real Vito.
That was a good character, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Jalen says, Jalen All Sicko D.O. Mad Day. What a crazy name that is. Appreciate you, brother. He says, facts. Doug didn't want to start Jalen when he had the chance. It's a huge reason why Doug got fired. Doug not developing Trevor as much better passer than Hertz. Press Taylor costing Doug a second job. I'll agree with about half of that.
Yeah, because you know why? Jalen Hurts was never drafted to take Carson Wentz's job. He was a safety belt. He was a seat belt. He was a backup quarterback. You all bitched at it when you took him in the second after you gave the guy 38 annually. So how the fuck are you sitting there thinking that he wanted to start him when the organization is paying this guy top dollar? Only Jared Goff and Carson Wentz were making the same money. They were the highest paid guys in the sport. So when you say he didn't want to start Jalen, no shit, he didn't. The organization didn't.
Yeah.
They paid him 38 annually.
Yeah, Jay, you can't put all that on Doug, my guy. Come on. Like I said yesterday, Sileo, Nick was hired to fix Carson Wentz. He wasn't hired to develop Jalen Hurts. Come on, that's why they fired Doug, because the relationship between Doug and Wentz got so bad, they weren't going to continue to do it. And they moved on from Doug, and then they brought in Nick, and then Carson still wanted out and didn't want to play. So they traded him and honestly got a pretty good return for Carson at that time. Let's keep rolling, boy. Let's keep rolling.
Thanks for the super chats, all. I appreciate this.
Appreciate it. Carmine, I like Carmine. Carmine, you might be my new favorite chatter of the day, brother. We got that one.
Anthony. I like Anthony too. I'm with
I like Anthony too. I appreciate Anthony's takes. Mike Cannon says, go ahead.
Big Sills, did the league making more rule restrictions, the RPO, lead to the front office to decide making Jalen a pocket passer? No, I think it goes to what Zander said. You can't develop an RPO offense. It's what it is. You could develop a pocket passing offense. That's where you get more growth, is in the pocket. What are you going to develop in RPO? Decision making? You're still going to get your quarterback killed. You know the number one thing that teams started doing to Tebow? What was the one thing that they started doing to Tebow when he was winning those games in Denver? By the way, he had an 8-game win streak. Whatever you want to say, but I'm going to show you how teams catch up. You know what they did? Teams were told when he came down the line of scrimmage, whether he had the ball or not, decleat him, because he's legal to hit with the ball in his hand. You get to decleat him. So he was never going to last running that style of offense. That's why they went and got Peyton Manning off the scrap heap, because remember, Manning had a neck injury. Nobody really knew if he was going to come out of Europe and he was going to be able to play. And quite frankly, he really didn't play all that hot late in his career because of the injury. So, I mean, they catch up on the RPO because why? It's easy to catch up on the RPO because all you're doing is run pass option. What is there to develop? Nothing.
Look at Prince. Zander reads in 2 seconds. So Prince, I try and take it over, but you can tell Sills is little man syndrome. He's like, I can't have Zander read on my show.
Holy shit.
Take over the reading of this.
You are so wrong, Sweetness. I have no caring of. See, that's half the people in here think that I give a shit about some things that people might say about Big Sills, because at the end of the day, I really don't. Box of rocks.
So you live in people's heads. I respect you for that.
Oh, man, I really do, man. You know how many people talk crap on Big Sills every day?
I know. I love it. I see it all over. I see it all over the place.
Because I'm the bad guy.
Doug didn't win the Super Bowl based on analytics. You go and tell the owner that. He'll laugh you off the page.
Hey, Justo, do you think when he went like this, okay, run it, you think that's analytics? You know what that is? Coolions. That's having a set of stones.
Yeah, what'd you tell someone earlier? What'd you say?
I said lick my balls or something. I remember what I said.
Oh my God, Still's got me in tears today, man. That was so funny.
That's a set of couillons,
We've been
Justo.
showing out today, Anthony. Appreciate that, man.
Set of couillons.
Steven.
Go ahead, Zander, because go ahead. I've got my big man mentality here. Go ahead. I don't want to do it now. Now I don't want
Kellen
to.
hasn't called the offense since the first game. Sills called out Nick not having anything to do with the offense in week 1. It all changed after.
Okay. Sure. I'll tell you what, I know Cross and Broad steals my shit, and I know that WIP steals my shit.
Everybody steals your shit. You're a content machine, so.
Hey, the guy Nick Serani looks like the guy from Taxi. Hey, you're welcome. How you doing? Okay, Kevin. Hey, you can lick my balls too, Kevin.
Yeah, seriously. Anthony, did we get this? And teams adjusted 22.
Hey, Kevin, post this. Lick my nuts. How you doing?
See, Anthony knows what's up. He's an Eagle fan. He doesn't want to believe that we're as bad as I think we might be.
No, Anthony, teams didn't adjust to 22. The Eagles self-adjusted. No, they didn't. They self-adjusted. They went to pocket passing more. He had more passing attempts than he did in 22 by 150 attempts. They went to more. There's no coincidence. His yards per carry from 2021 to 2022. Then you go 23, 24. They're down 2 yards a carry because he's throwing it more. They self-corrected themselves. They didn't catch. How do you catch up? Leaving a Super Bowl, getting into 23, and the guy goes up in turnovers, and he doubles his turnovers. He had 8 turnovers in 22, right? He had 15.
But you're right. But what Anthony said is still true. He didn't get better in what they wanted him to do. Now, they might have been wrong for trying to have him do that. But the point is, Anthony is right. That he didn't get better at doing the pro-style offense, which is what we're talking about today.
Yeah, because that's what they want him to be. They don't want that 22 offense. Dude, I would have ran that 22. By the way, Zander, do you think there's any coincidence that they ran that 22 offense earlier in the year last year at 10-1, and when they started throwing the ball more and more by the middle of the season and started throwing it towards later part of the season, turnovers turned over and he started losing games?
Is that what started? I'd have to look at the breakdown of last year, but
yeah, look at the first couple games. He ran the ball more when they were 10-1.
Yeah, I guess that's not fully sustainable. And, the owner wanted to protect his investment, I guess, right?
Because the owners care about health of players. Wow.
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying you fucking locked into this, dude. He's got to be your quarterback. Would you rather have Kenny Flickett? By the way, I need to take credit for that on this show. When we traded for Kenny Pickett.
That is.
Right before Dan's show, I said,
I started stealing it.
And then he comes live and just starts rattling it out in the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
Now I see it everywhere all over YouTube. I'm like, I coined that phrase.
I took credit for it, but that is Zander. I will not lie. Being behind the scenes producer, Zander, that is his take that I took ownership of. Yes.
Kenny can't even flick it, dude. His hands aren't big enough to flick it.
Can he flick it? Well, I told you, man. Any guy with small hands, right, Sue?
Two gloves. Yeah.
Hey, Sue. Any guy with small hands. How you doing?
Small hands to you, Sills.
Hey, Sue. Never date a guy with small hands, right, Sue?
Go on, Sue's brother's in here. Show some respect, will you?
Yeah.
Show some respect, Sileo.
I'm sorry, Carmine. That's right. I know what a Guinea brother could do. I get it. I'm sorry. I forgot about it.
We're off the rails right now. I'll tell you that much. Carmine says, Sills and Zander, Kim and I are going to the game this Sunday. I live in Hoboken. Let me know if you want extra coverage from us. That's dope, Carmine. Hoboken's a good spot.
Yes. Carmine, do me a favor. Dan Sileo show. Follow me. I'll follow you back. I think Kim follows me. Send me some pictures, and what we'll do is we'll repost it. And by the way, now that I know you're in Hoboken, the home of Frank Sinatra, how you doing?
I'm thinking of moving up toward Hoboken. I mentioned my brother's having a kid. I didn't tell you that, did I?
No.
Oh, I announced it on the post-game show, and I got everybody.
Hey, what? The kids, how far along are we here?
No, he's not yet. He's due, I think, after the new year, and I think he's due closer to May or something. But he announced it. And on our post-game show, I had to leave a little bit earlier because we had a big family dinner where he announced to our family that he was pregnant. So, but he lives. My brother is a lot smarter than I am. He doesn't talk about sports for a living. He is like a founder of a company in New York, raising all this money and doing all these crazy things. But so he's looking to buy a house somewhere up in that North Jersey area, or in the suburbs of New York, somewhere up there for his family. So
like Patterson, like that kind of place up in there.
my brother's big time, brother. My brother's my
Oh,
brother.
he's going up near Eli. He's going up near Eli, man.
He's trying to do some. Yeah, I forget where exactly he's looking right now, but he's looking at some spots where I can't afford. I'll just
remember I told you about why you live in Jersey. Remember, you know why the Statue of Liberty faces the other way, so everybody in Jersey can kiss everyone in New York and Connecticut's ass.
Yeah, I believe.
How you doing?
Stu is right about this. New Jersey property taxes. Oh, they'll kill you. They'll kill you.
Hey, so where my aunt lives in Fairfield County, Connecticut, a tree hut goes for about 300 grand. Okay, a tree hut.
Yeah, it does. Angela,
I'm already moving my aunt's tree hut.
Angela, you are correct. My brother is not pregnant. His wife is pregnant.
Well,
hey, I'm going to be an uncle times 4 because my older sister's got 3.
Angelo, wait a minute, Angelo. It depends on what political party you're with. If you're a Democrat, you believe dudes can get pregnant.
Yeah, that's true. I don't believe that bullshit. So don't put that on me, Angelo.
Hang on. Let me put this thing back on the Grand Central Railroad tracks.
Big hands, small brain, right, Sills?
Hey, Prince. You know what? Take a knee and grab a cannoli. How you doing?
Hey, Prince was on fire today. Wait, it's good to see Prince because he rebounded after one of the worst lists I've ever read in my entire life yesterday. Prince decided to rebound, and I respect it. I respect it. He came back strong.
Man, I disagree. I don't think he meant Jalen Hertz at 3.
No, he didn't. You're right. He did follow up. He meant
Jaden Daniels that he put there at 3. I thought that was pretty cool and pretty high for that kid. But hey, by the way, if you had to pick a quarterback to start your franchise, would it be Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, or Jalen Hurts?
What was that? Say that one more time.
If you were going to start your franchise and build your team right now with the starting quarterback, would it be Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, or Jalen Hurts?
Well, definitely not Jalen Hurts.
Okay, well then rank those 3 on building a team.
I'll probably go Jaden because he's suited for the modern game.
Jaden.
And I go Caleb, and then I go Hertz. Right?
These guys get 5 starts.
What would you do?
It's a no win for you.
Wait, everybody in the chat, what would you do?
Don't ask Michelle Reyes because
Michelle Reyes already checked in.
Yeah, okay. I would take Daniels. I would take Caleb Williams is playing great though, dude. He
said, Zander, nothing wrong with a big family. Abe, if it were up to me, I'd have about 42 kids.
Yeah, if it were up to me, Abe, I'd have about 42 kids and 16 gomads and 1 wife.
I can't be saying that. I don't know who's watching right now. I can't be talking too crazy.
When you're married 34 years, no one cares anymore.
Well, that's true. I'm not there yet, though. But, Abe, if it were up to me, I'd have and I hope I will one day, God willing.
Hey, I think I got a few people in my family, 18 kids, 4 gumads.
Wait, Sills has a lot of accomplishments in life. Sills, what's your best accomplishment?
My daughter.
Exactly. My parents say the same thing about their kids. My sister says the same thing about her kids. Everybody I talk to that has a good head on their shoulders takes pride in their kids. So I'd love to have many, many kids.
Yeah, I got to be careful because my wife's home. She may not give me dinner. I may be eating peanut butter and jelly tonight.
You're eating tuna fish, my guy.
Yeah, I'd be eating tuna fish. No good.
You might need to run to the supermarket.
You might
need to run to the supermarket, pick up a little can of tuna.
Good. I'll be eating McDonald's and a Big Mac tonight. How you doing?
With some mayo. Mix it with some mayo and some hot sauce. Some salt.
Oh, good. By the way, she made sauce the other night. It was spectacular too, by the way. It was awesome. Hey, Zander, great stuff. You're feeling good about Sunday, though.
I mean, define good. I don't think we're going to blow them out. I think we're going to get the win. I have a hard time believing
it's a 4-quarter game again.
What's that?
You think it's a 4-quarter game like it was in Cleveland for Cleveland?
The way the Eagles play, it seems like they just leave that door open for everybody, right? I mean, they refuse to run the game like they should run the game, which is run the ball, let the offense set up, give Jalen Hurts some time to get into the game, and play normal football like it's supposed to be played. but they come out and just start throwing go routes every time on 1st and 10, in the first drive of the game. So that lends to creating opportunities for the other team to hang around, just like the Browns did. By the way, with 3 field goals in the game, they still hung around. And that's probably what will happen, that the Eagles will leave it close and it will be a 4-quarter game. But the Eagles are going to win.
Are you concerned about special teams?
Nah. I mean, how much can you put on Michael Clay for
No.
the greatness of Myles Garrett jumping your
Here's
offensive
my problem with special teams right now. You got lesser talent on
and
special teams.
how he's gotten rid of it. They got rid of every player that Michael Clay. So before we start bashing Michael Clay, by the way,
I'm not.
They got rid of every time Johnson. Oh, that guy's great at special teams. Boom, he was cut, released.
You know how the first sign you know that you don't have the same talent you have on special teams? Your defense is not with depth. And when your defense doesn't have depth, your special team suffers. And their special teams the last 2 weeks have suffered.
There you go, Bob. That's my brother's company. Radical AI.
Mm.
He'll be meeting with the White House in a couple months with Trump.
We will end on that.
Do I look? I don't look like I don't look like a Kamala voter, do I?
Zander, yeah, no.
No, everybody.
Dude,
if you got a problem with that,
hey,
pick it up with somebody else.
Hey, no, man. You're not going to vote. If you move to Jersey, you're not voting for the fat guy on the beach and stopping traffic on a bridge. Yeah. So I know you're not that guy. And he, by the way, the last time, as Trump would say, Christie was seen was at a Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm a businessman, everybody. I vote for the businessman, not the stupid lifetime politicians.
Hey, yeah, right. Being a politician, here's my politics. Big Sills' world is right here. Zander, great stuff, brother.
Tomorrow. Zander got a Harris bumper sticker. Abe, come on, brother.
Did you see that interview with Brett Baer?
I saw some of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Brett decided to sack up, maybe take a page out of Sileo.
I posted it, man. I was
not
like,
be a softy.
Hey, I kept doing this. What? What?
All right, enough politics for the day. Hey, listen, here's what I'll say on the way out, though, because I know I just said it, but I don't care who you vote for. If you support JAKIB, I support you, and I could give a shit who you vote for. I really don't. I really don't care. Doesn't bother me.
Can I tell you the only thing I care about is your views and your super chats. That's it.
What's that?
I think I care about
I don't want to dumb everybody down to that, but I do appreciate their support of this network. And
excuse me, I'm sorry, Mr. Brainiac. I mean, I'm not the smartest guy. I'm a man of the people. You're not. Obviously, you live in Cape May.
Are you kidding me?
Hold on.
You think I'm not a man of the people?
You got a yacht. You float around with Jeffrey Lurie. You're a Cape May old man down in Naples.
Huh?
Hey, wait. I'm a man of the people. So, Zander, great stuff, brother. Hey, by the way, tell John he's starting to sound more like Sileo every day. How you doing? Xander, thanks, brother.
Appreciate everybody, man. What a fun show that was. Appreciate all you guys. Still, it's a great show, man. Finish up strong. Merrill Reese. Oh, by the way, real quick before I get out of here, 6 p.m. tonight, we'll have This Week in Pro Football again. It's every Thursday night at 6 for those who enjoy the show. We'll have Sal Palantonio on.
Oh, killer.
We'll have the 2 Giants guys, Gary Myers, Hall of Fame voter, and Pat Leonard. Gary. So we'll have them at 7. And then we'll have, if you're into fantasy and if you're into sports gambling, we have 2 guys in the middle that cover what to do this week for those guys. So if you're into fantasy and sports betting, it's great middle of the show. But we also have Sal at the Open, who really does a nice job.
Tell your guy that he voted for my uncle in the top 10 of New York Giants.
Gary?
Gary, yeah. Because I tweeted at him. I said, because he was on the panel to vote.
Yeah.
And God, you know what? You remind me so many, because there's so many people that I know. Gary Myers is great.
One day you got to educate me on how good Mark Gastineau was, because I saw something the other day and I was like, holy shit, was he that good?
Gastineau is the second player next to Reggie, if you count his postseason, to have a sack in every game he ever played, and it's 110. In 110 games, he had 110 sacks.
Wait, he had a sack in every game?
Here, watch this. He gave me this. I got a bunch of stuff, but check this out. So we all get coins if you're an NFL alumni. Here's mine right here, and here's my number. Dan
Dan
Sileo.
Sileo. Love it.
I got a certain number here, NFL alumni. Here is Gastineau's. And Mark gave me this. So check it out, what it says on the back. Okay, on the back here.
Let me see if I can see.
I'll read it. It says 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 7 times All-Pro. And that guy's not in the Hall of Fame. And he was on the New York Sack Exchange.
Yeah, right. You have that jersey, don't you? The Sack Exchange dirt jersey?
Right here. Hang on. Oh, what? By the
That's
way,
right there. Isn't that? No, that's the Gastineau jersey.
No. Right here. That is the Sack Exchange. They all signed it for
Prince
me.
says Sills is reading. Yeah, you don't want to make Sills read too much.
Hold on here. Okay. So on the back here, by the way, Abdul Salam died last week.
Oh, really? Rest in peace.
Yeah, number 74, Abdul Salam died. He signed it. Joe Klecko signed it. Hall of Famer. Marty Lyons signed it. Mark Gastineau signed it.
Wow, that's dope, man.
New York Sack Exchange.
That's cool as hell right there.
Yep. Gave me that. I got a whole bunch of shit, man.
No, I love when you start going into stuff like that. It's dope.
Dude, Gastineau's a 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year and a 7-time All-Pro. And the reason why they don't is because he was a lunatic.
Was he?
Yeah, he's just
kind of lunatic.
A lunatic.
I'll have to look up a little bit of Mark. All right, let me go because I got to get ready for this show.
Zander, I appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
Great stuff, man. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Love all you guys, man. Appreciate the support. Big Sills, great show. Catch you tomorrow, brother.
Absolutely, man. Make sure you check out Zander and Birds 365 in the morning. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Abdul Salam just died. I don't remember. I think he could have been. Hey, am I right? Prince was Abdul Salam, did he go to an HBCU school? Hey, am I right when I say this? I don't know if Zander knows this, but Joe Klecko is a Temple guy. I got to bring this up here. Yeah, right here. Joe Klecko's a Temple guy. Went to Temple. Yeah, Mark gave me this. I think Abdul Salam got to frame that jersey, Big Sills. Hey, do you want before the timeout? Let me show you this last one. Let me show you this last jersey that I got. And you know what? Hey, correct me and excuse me if I've shown some of you this before. But Mark sent me this because he knows how much. I mean, me and him are very good friends. And here's Gastineau. And Mark said this. There are Jets. To Dan Sileo, my brother, we are friends for life. One of your close friends, Mark Gastineau. Yep. I grew up, I love this guy. I like lunatics. That shirt is 1 of 1. Yeah. Really cool. He sent me that, man. Mark sent me a whole crap load of stuff. Just absolutely a great dude, man. Shut up, Prince. What do you know? So Klecko was from Temple and lived in Marlboro, New Jersey. Met him a few times. Great dude. Hey, Bob, how tall you think he is? You think Klecko's 6'2"? Sills has a whole museum of fucking cool ass shit. John, I'm going to look in the drawer. What do I have? Oh, that's just feel good stuff with Big Sills. Forget it. No good. But I do have a ton of stuff. Hey, how about this here, man? So you know how I show this thing here? This Ryan Longoria? This Evan Longoria Rawlings small trophy. Look at this. Okay? I never realized that he signed it. I never realized Evan signed this thing for me, Evan Longoria. I'm sitting there doing this, didn't think shit of it. And my wife goes like this, "Oh, that was nice of him. Evan signed it for you." I'm like, "He did? Holy shit, he did." And Tampa Bay Rays, this is when he was with the Rays. This is when they were champions, actually. This is 2010 Golden Gloves. And Evan gave me this in my studio when I covered the Rays and I was down in Tampa. All kinds of crazy shit. Okay? I'd rather have Evan's mitt. Hey, I didn't ask him for the shit, though. Says you have more stuff than Mark Holmes. Yeah, Mark bought that. American League champions. Hey, Flexin. Is this the year that the Phillies beat him in the series 10? Was that 2010 you guys beat him in the series? Is that? Yeah, we're doing that next. Hey, we're doing that next. We're gonna grade the players off the week. Oh wait, okay. Oh wait, okay. Oh wait, okay. Oh wait. Damn, I was covering the team then too. I told you all, Sills, the dicky bunch of dudes that close, aka Diddy Party, Baby Oil, Sills. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's my two girls. I don't know why. I'm a Yankee fan, Sills. Me too. Huge Yankee fan. As a matter of fact, Flexin, you could ask me any question you want, okay, about the Yankees, and I'll know it. PFF ranked the Birds' defensive line number 5. How can you rank their D-line number 5 when you're 29th in defense and you get stoned at the point of attack and run defense? Oh, my God. How come when I see Steve, I do this? Hey, Sills, PFF has ranked the Birds D-line number 5. I mean, what do you got to say about that? Stop getting killed at the point of attack and teams running the ball down your throat. Who's the worst than us, Sills? If we're 29th. How about the Cowboys? Right? Top 10 offense, top 5 defense. What's up? Yeah, and you're out of the playoff picture right now. What's up? Oh, what's up? All right. We are going to do, because as Abe said, nicely done, Abe. How good did you actually play? This plays right into it. Who's the lunatic that said the Eagles' D-line is number 5, according to PFF? Okay? Stop it. We are mediocre people. Carmine, don't do that. Don't do that. These guys will start freaking crying like Princess. These guys will start crying. What are you, crazy? All right. Hit the like button. We're going to take a look actually how good they play heading into this Giants game. All right? Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.